Starting your own practice is hard for many chiropractors. It's riddled with both struggles and successes. But here at the Chiropractic Philanthropist, we make it easy by having chiropreneurs and entrepreneurs share their struggles and lessons learned in life and business so that you don't have to make the same mistakes. And now here's your host, Dr. Ed Osborne.
All right, awesome. Okay, I want to thank everyone for being on the call today. This is, again, one of our protege mastermind executive calls. We're kind of repurposing. So I kind of am trying to be more of the king of repurposing content and social media content lately. And so we have an incredible guest today. We have Dr. Charles Francis, who's going to be sharing with us how he actually created a funnel. And I'll let him kind of describe the results that he's experienced with that, but also a little bit about the process of what it took for him to get there and the offer and, just all of that really good stuff that inspires the members who are on this call today so they can reproduce or duplicate those same kind of results. And they can actually see that someone's actually like out there doing this, which is really why we are all part of this group. Okay, so not everyone knows who you are, Doc. So let's start with that. So I want you to introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about you. Tell us about, how you practice, where you are in your life and business right now today.
Do you want to go back to the beginning when I sold it all, or you just like to tell me where I am today?
Tell me your story.
All right. So I'll make it short and brief, but, I graduated in 98 from Life University, quote unquote, you call it straight chiropractor, where I never thought I'd do anything but adjust. We ran a wellness clinic in Charlotte, North Carolina. I practiced there for 16 or so years. And we had what I would consider large volume, some consider it not. I mean, somewhere between 600 to 800 a week, very consistently, cash-based practice, probably for the majority of it, like 12 out of the 16 years. And I got to a point in clinic, and it was probably 2 years before I made the big decision, but I don't like the word burnt out. It was just like, I didn't see an end in mind. I was adjusting. My body's starting to hurt. I was working, screenings and marketing and staff quitting. And it just was like one of the harder things. And I was like, I don't see an end to this. I can't see getting ahead. I was part of different practice manager groups, and I realized they're all trying to just keep everyone hostage in the group, in the sense, because if you go outside the group, it breaks down the practice management side of things. So with that being said, I went away to a seminar, and I don't know about everyone else, but when I go away, I get clarity. And I wasn't pressured, and I knew at that point I was supposed to sell it. And so I went back to my wife and said, hey, we're selling the whole thing. And a few weeks later, I got scared. It was December 10th. I told her I was going to sell it. And I said, we're going to go back. We're going to do this, and I'll run it differently. And in March, it hit the fan. Everything. I just knew at a point I was supposed to sell it all. So long story short, I didn't realize the pressure I put my family under, how disconnected I was. My health was going down the tubes. And so I ended up doing something radical. I sold my practice. I sold it in 3 months. I got 100% cash pay for it. It wasn't always what you'd like to get, but I thought it was decent. But I was committed to leaving. And so I sold it. I sold my house in 34 days, door to door. I rented a house in Virginia because before my house was sold, because I was that committed to leaving. So I said, if I rented a place, I moved like 3 states away, moved to a town of 5,000 people, and I'm not exaggerating about the 5,000. And I decided I was going to take an entire year off, and I wasn't going to communicate with chiropractors for a while, just because I wanted to get out of the state and the dogma we all preach to each other, and I wanted to actually learn how to be a business person and a healthcare provider and not be sold from all these different people. And I really wanted to create freedom. That was the thing I was lacking. I had resources and money, but I had no freedom. I was tied to a practice. If I got injured, the practice went down. I took a vacation, the practice went down. Something going on with my family, I couldn't be there. Someone quits, you're diving in, you're fixing things. So anyway, long story short, took that year off, and then I decided to create Integrated Freedom. I also launched a nutrition and weight loss practice. My intention was to do nutrition, weight loss, and chiro. And I injured myself, ruptured my bicep in the middle of it all. So adjusting was out of the question. And then I realized I can earn money without having to go to the office, and I can earn money with my mouth. I didn't have to actually physically do something. We ended up generating over $1 million in 10 months from Go in a brand new town. and then just kept escalating from there. We did 1 point something million, then we did 1.8, a little over 1.8 again. And I was doing it in under 20 hours a week. I was vacationing one time, still am. I'm going on vacation this next coming week. Vacationing one time a week, and my income didn't drop even when I went away. And so then buddies of mine reaching out to me, say, hey, how you doing this? I want some of that. So I helped 2 friends of mine develop that type of business, and like, you should be doing this for other doctors. And that's when Truly Integrated Freedom was launched. And now in 18 months or 2 years, we've taken 4 doctors over $1 million. Profit margins are 50% or greater. So it's not like $1 million and they spend $1 million, they're putting cash in their pocket, which is the real number. And then it's growing. We have now 14 or 15 doctors onboarded. Everyone's in different stages of that process. I think we're going to be giving away some awards for doing epic marks. It shows less than 1% of any business in the US ever does over $1 million in the lifetime of the business in any fiscal year, period. Just to put that in perspective, we took 4 people so far out of 14, but some of them have just started. And that's not even counting myself. And so that's where Integrated Freedom was launched. And now I teach doctors how to automate their business, create a side dish that isn't dependent on their body. And part of this is the online thing, which you just saw, where I did this type of funnel for the first time. And we did 36K online, but I had a few people walk in my door and pay, like with cash, check, charge, however they want to do it. They weren't internet. They didn't want to pay over the internet, or they had FSA cards or whatnot. So we did about 41, 42. That was the real number, but on ClickFunnels, it shows 36. So I'm going to say 36 because I can prove that. That was a quick ramble of my story. Oh, and by the way, I up and moved to Orlando, Florida. So I have 2 homes. I have one in Virginia, and then I have one in Orlando here, where I'm actually doing this from. And I've been running my practice from here for the last few months, and income's the same.
Beautiful.
I know. It's been a stressor. It hasn't been easy because we're doing something new and pioneering something, and there's always hiccups in the process. So, but besides that, I mean, I don't know many people who can run a business from several states away and be as successful and do that. And we're just navigating that. I'm teaching doctors how to do the same, where just have 2 doctors. One doctor just launched a second weight loss practice. He's already doing over $1 million in one. And now he's on a second. He did 17K in 2 days. And he's got a waiting list of 2 to 3 weeks. It's crazy. And I have another doctor ready to open up. She has a plan for like 5 in the next 3 years. Wow. So insane stuff.
It is insane stuff. I love it too. So like, I mean, part of what I wanted to know too is like, can you get a little more specific in the transition? Like, you're in this, like right now you're in this real place of flux. Like, you're not in your practice. There's a transition happening. So what was that like, and why are you doing that?
Well, freedom has a cost. So people think like freedom doesn't come at that. Like my vision of freedom is to have the autonomy to do what I want to do when I want to do it. Like last night I went to the kids, went to Disney. It was like, I just did it on impulse. We rocked. We had such a blast. The wife's out of town with one of my other kids. I'm like, let's go have some fun. And I could do that and still produce. So it's really about freedom. If I want to work, I love to work. I mean, I love to produce stuff that changes people's lives, but I do it on my time frame. I do it from my home. I like to be able to give things away too. And sometimes we don't have resources we can give, like financially or otherwise. I like to be chill too. So I don't only like to be a professional guy. I like to be the guy who's going to sit on the beach and have a margarita and hang out. So that's where Integrated Freedom was born. Like, how do you blend all those freedoms? And that's what made me shift from Virginia to here, because we're building a distribution center. We're also working on automating things so doctors can have things drop shipped to the clients anywhere in the US. We're building something to create true freedom and automation for our doctors so they don't have to do the work. Like, we do their Facebook posts. We put together books that they can give away, free plus shipping. I mean, so that's what I love to do. I realized I loved to produce systems that allow freedom, and that creates more freedom for me and everyone else. Okay,
so let's start getting into some of the real meat of this too then. I mean, you can get as specific as you would like, or, whatever you're not comfortable sharing, that's cool too. I'd love to know what your value ladder is. I already know your value ladder, but the listeners and the viewers don't know your value ladder. but this helps them guide them in creating their own business blueprint.
Yeah.
Okay. So your level one is like the free stuff that you give away. You kind of already mentioned all these things that you have. What is your level one? What is the free stuff like books, podcasts, video? I mean, I follow you on social media.
Yeah, so the front end stuff, the open stuff, again, because what's attractive to somebody, the things we're doing right now is we have a recipe book. We also wrote a best-selling book called the 3P Protocol, which explains the process of what we do inside our clinic. We also do, I have different landing pages that we have that actually have people come and they'll get a free report or they'll get a download. We also offer a free no obligation appointment, and it's just that. It's no obligation. I don't pressure people. I'm not about that. And that's another front end offer we have. And now we're getting ready to launch a couple of podcasts. I'm getting ready to build a room and a setup and do that. Those are the main things we use right now. We're getting ready to also launch a quiz online so that people take a quiz and we can capture their data and then start to nurture them towards the outcome. And since I have several businesses, there's different quizzes and different front ends, but those are the ones we're using.
Cool. And so what do you have right now then too? So like, I mean, the current campaign that you just did, I would consider that to be a level 2 because basically someone could pay for it online. It was like a product or service, correct?
So that's what we did. So we have, again, the nutrition weight loss clinic I have in Charlottesville, Virginia. It's been there a little over 3 years. We have whatever patient base. And so each summer I provide an offer. And what I want to do is I truly, from my heart, is I want to love on our patients. They've been so good. I get to do what I love. I get to have a great life and serve them at the same time. So I do a massive giveaway. And what we do is, what I realize is what most people always try to compete on is price. And it's like the worst competition in the world because someone's always going to go lower with you. That's why people hate the joint. They're like, oh, they're going to go to the joint for $29 adjustment because they're competing on price. But the way to get past the joint, and I don't even think it's a bad thing, is you need to layer your offer and give them multiple things and bring it all together because then price doesn't matter. Yeah. So what we did was we launched, and we have part of our nutrition weight loss, we have what's called red lights. They're a thing that help people with wound healing, but really is designed for helping tighten and tone skin, get rid of fat. It's a great piece of equipment. And so it's not cheap to use, and we don't lower our costs. And so then once a year, typically in the summer, I will do some type of campaign. And so this one I did as a red light campaign, and it was the first time I did it in a funnel-like fashion. And so we launched it, and I was like, hey, what's the results? You know, and we did again like 36 plus K, really 40.
Yeah, definitely a beautiful level 2. And you know that, so, and just kind of continuing the conversation so I can kind of get this in my head, but also everyone who's viewing. So your level 3 is like where there's like either some sort of a, you know, group coaching or maybe a continuity group that you might have like a membership. What does that look like for you? Or what are you working on for that?
Yeah, no, so that's not in place yet. So that's the beautiful part. We first started with a level 2. We just came head on at level 2 and built the whole thing around a level 2. And then we realized, hey, what's a wiser way of attracting people to what we're offering? And that's where the front end is built. And we're definitely going to build a back end. And that's where that's what we're doing with the podcast and other things. And then creating from that, hey, how do we have an exclusive group for the people who want the exclusiveness of that? And to provide that, it'll be an XYZ cost to have access to me all the time or access to my wife, whoever's affiliated with the leadership of what we're doing.
And that'll be like inside of a closed Facebook group or maybe some other sort of.
Facebook is where we're going with that. So that way we can put information out there consistently. They can receive it. We're creating a culture, right? That people have, and also build synergy. Like I like synergy where a lot of times when I find that people are part of groups, there's always this pull apart competition where I want to work as a unit, come together and really lift everyone up. And at times, sometimes I need to be lifted, and sometimes people get lifted by other people. It doesn't always have to be on my shoulders. Yeah, which is a beautiful thing, and it wasn't in my past life and when I was doing chiropractic full time.
And so, and then your level 4, which is more or less usually like with level 4 or like in terms of value ladders, that's like the one-on-one type of coach. That's really integrative freedom, isn't it? That's the whole ball of wax of that one.
Yeah, that's where I take the doctors, which is outside of the patient scope, and I actually can reproduce the same thing for doctors. And so that's the part that I love about it, is because it's custom. What we teach, the doctor takes it and then fits it into their life. So I have doctors that do it 10 hours a week, and I have doctors that it's their standalone. And I mean, it doesn't even matter so much with money. One of our doctors doing it 10, 15 hours a week, 15 hours max, is doing 600 or 700K at 70% margins. It's crazy stuff. And then I have doctors who have a standalone, and it's only nutrition, only weight loss, and they do XYZ, and they're doing it 20 to 30 hours a week, but they don't do anything else. So it depends, and you can fiddle between it. I have docs that outsource the chiro, keep the chiro, market the chiro. They do both. They outsource the nutrition, weight loss. I mean, there's so many ways to dice it, but it's on their terms.
Yeah.
So they're the Gary Vee, like building the side dish, creating that revenue stream, and then they get to feel what their heart space is and go in that direction. Who am I to say that to them?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that gets us actually to the next step, which is your level 5, which is your live events, which I know you have a huge passion for. So you have a level 5 live event, that type of experience, which is coming up, right?
Yep. Yeah. So we have one coming up October the 5th and 6th. What we do is we just walk the whole process, because we need that much time to explain how it actually works. Because you talk about money, and we've been promised a bill of goods before, and we've been lied to, and we think it works. We get there and it sucks. But we actually walk our doctors through the whole process. We show them the business side of it. We run it like a business. We show them the clinical side, so it's validated and it's not some hokey pokey crap you put in your body. Then we show the marketing side, and how do we bring it all together? And that's when we have that whole event where we do it. It's really a 36-hour experience. Last year we did Keys to the Kingdom, where we had one of the people walk us through underground Disney, show how they set up. It's no different. So that's what people don't realize. It's the same thing, but you take these nuances. And this year it's going to be themed around, I don't want to give too much away, but it's going to be around catapulting that chasm. We're going to have doctors, and not only doctors, entrepreneurs, make that breakthrough. We have a patient of ours that's starting the program. He actually lost 142 pounds in my program in 7 months. And he's opening his own clinic because he wants to change lives. And he can do it. I have another doctor who doesn't even run the clinic. They are business people. They outsource it and hire the talent. And it runs with that. So it's not just exclusive to doctors. We show them how to make that actual breakthrough. And then we have a piece of the event that cements it for someone, where it gets into their soul.
This is amazing. So I want everyone, like all of our proteges, especially, I can see we got a couple executive clients that are on the call too. What I want you to really take from this is, Dr. Charles has a very specific value ladder, and like he's not diverging off onto all these other, he stays right inside of his value ladder. So level 1, he has all these front end offers, whether it's public. And now, he also is developing ones to connect with doctors, although he hasn't had to do that really until now. He wants to build this higher. So level 2 being like his red light campaign, which did the 41K in 10 days. And we're going to go a little deeper in that in a second. Level 3 being, the Facebook continuity group, which they're building out. So this is the other part of this too, is you don't have to launch all of your, every level at one time. You can go you have to eat an elephant one bite at a time, right? So that's coming. And then we have integrative freedom, which is the one-on-one consulting and also the implementation of this for doctors in their practice. And then level 5 is the October, like in October, you have the 5th, 6th event. I got to tell you, this is exactly how I build out my online businesses. I have 2 businesses, right? I have laptop lifestyle. And if you look, we have exactly the same value ladder. And then if you look at Men of Iron, exactly the same type of value ladder. You've done the same thing. I want everyone who's listening and watching right now is that they realize that they can do the exact same thing too. You just have to know how.
It's not like a plug to you, Ed, but that's where I've modeled it from. Like as I'm going along, because I didn't have it set up this way, and realize here's a guy who's doing it real time, building it, transparent about it. And I'm like, well, if Ed can do it, I can do it. So negative way, it's like, but everyone else listening can do the same thing. There's no limitations to a human being, what they're capable of. And so I said, let me start putting this in play. And that's how we've been able to do it. And you're right. You just have to put one piece in at a time. And you don't have to do it all. It isn't vomiting it all on a page or, on a website. It's building it and then testing it and tripping and falling a little bit and skimming your knees and getting back up. And, You know what? But it's a game I love to play. It's something I enjoy. I have so much fun doing it. It doesn't feel that way, you know?
How long have you been working on this? When I say this, I mean all of this, like, so that transition to not just being in your practice, but the transition, the idea, the vision to where you are today. What's the time frame?
3 years. The thing was, I felt like I couldn't lead people where I hadn't gone myself. That's leadership. So I don't have to own everything. I just have to be one step ahead of the person I'm trying to help. And so I didn't feel like I had true freedom when I was just launching some of the stuff. I was still in the grind saying, hey, is this really sustainable? Is this really doable? And as I saw that and I saw people reaching out to me, because it's been organic, that's when I realized I have something I can share and give. And then I have a system that most people don't know or don't see it. You know, I see the playing field certain ways. And that's when it really started. But just in the last 18 months is where the trajectory went like that, really crazy fast and almost outside my own comfort zone. I was like feeling that like you want to hold back. You like your security or at least the sense of security seems to dissipate. And I think that's what holds people back too. They're so afraid of something new, or they're so afraid of the quote unquote failure that they just get stagnant and stuck. And that hurts me because like I was telling you earlier that I spoke to 3 or 4 docs that were studs and studettes and they just can't see the possibility yet.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah. Or it seems like it's too much. Like it's like, oh, wait a second. Like when we talk about this value ladder, someone might look at this and just go, yeah, there's no way I can do this.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the reality is you just have to break it down into small bites.
Yeah. Every day, just make a list. Like we have each month, this may be something for everyone else. Each quarter I sit down and we write down our boulders. Like we pick each category, like financial boulders or structural boulders or spiritual, whatever the things are, business, we write them all down. And those are the 2 items I need to move in each category, heck or high water. And then you have all these micro steps. And then I break them down by month. And we probably hit 80% of them. We don't hit all of them, but it's amazing how fast you can move something where you're just trying to move the big objects and not get caught up in all the minutia, all the crap, all the how-tos. And it's like, we're doing this. We're figuring how to move that needle another notch. And it accelerated everything. And I'm just like one guy where it's not like I have this whole like army of people behind me doing all this work. I've been doing it as I go. I already have a practice. I take care of my kids. I don't, you know, I'm mixing it in the mix of everything else. It isn't like I'm just stuck in a room all day long.
I want to kind of step back to something you said. You said, like, I have to just be one step ahead of the person I'm trying to help. Mm-hmm. It's like, you don't have to know everything. You don't have to have everything created. You just have to be 1 week or one step ahead of the person you're trying to help. And that includes like if you're creating or selling an online product or service.
And sometimes we're building things that I feel like the paint's drying as we're moving to the next room, you know, so, but you know, that's part of entrepreneurship and that's delivering the goods. And I like that positive pressure because if I didn't have it, I wouldn't create it. You're kind of forced to create the things that you set out to. So yeah. And that's the thing with patients, like patients or even my staff goes, I can't teach them. I don't know it all. I'm like, you know more than they do. So please teach them at least what you know. And at that point you can serve them. So there's no perfection in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what's the biggest challenge that you saw? Like when you were creating all of this, you had the vision, what was the biggest challenge you came up to?
There's actually 2. One is a self-imposed challenge myself is I don't even like social media. So what I mean by that is I'm such under the radar type of flyer of my life, but unfortunately to help people see the vision, you got to show them what you're doing and the things you have. And I feel like it's bragging half the time. And I don't like that. I'd like no one to know what I do. I'd like to build things. That's more of my MO. But it's not the world we live in and people need to see social proof. They need to see it happening. So therefore I do that out of a discomfort, but I do it because it serves the greater good. Mm-hmm. So that's the first. And the second thing is what I said earlier is that the biggest challenge I have is doctors don't see the potential. They're so horse blinders, you know, where they feel like, hey, if I do this, I do that. I mean, I have people paying practice manager groups, whatever, $2,000, $3,000 a month to get a 5% potential growth that year. I mean, and at that, I'm like, wait a second, this thing explodes and you can keep what you're doing. You don't even have to give it up and you can actually do it. Because if you look at our profession, how many docs have gotten sick, injured, something's happened to them, and it's not out of their misdoing, it's just life, and they can't produce now. Like I think about that too. Like I know this thing will work whether I'm physically capable or not, thank God. And most people don't have an income where they can rely on it. They're a month away from being broke. So that the challenge is showing people who are so scared that it's possible. And because most of them have tried things before and haven't seen the success, and they're basing all of their lack of success on this next opportunity. They're like, well, it won't work either. And they can't even take this step. Like how many people should be at the event in October, but won't show up because they feel it's not going to work for them.
Right.
Right. And I'm like, show up, try it. They've
already disqualified themselves.
Exactly. And before they even had an opportunity to find out if it's right for them. It doesn't mean it's right for everybody. Nothing's right for everybody. But I'm like, damn, you're right. They disqualified themselves. They took themselves out of the game. They're sitting on the bench and going, it's not for me. I don't have the capabilities of doing that. And I think that's just a lie from within themselves.
Yeah. And I sometimes, even inside of like the laptop lifestyle, I hear that like people who are like, yeah, sounds really cool. I would love to do that. It's just, there's no way. It's just not me. I can't do it. But I look, if someone like myself can make this stuff happen, there's nothing, I don't think there's anything special about me. I had to learn how to do all this stuff. Yeah, it's been that break kind of brings me to where this whole entire process for myself, and I know it's been for you, has been a real gift. But if you could specifically say, what has been the gift that you've received from doing all of this over the last, year to 2 years? What's the greatest gift?
Self-ownership. I guide my own ship, man. And also willing to put it out there and knowing I can fall on my face every day. But that to me, that's the freedom part. That goes back, like the gift is freedom. And the more I get of it, true, authentic, genuine freedom, the more I crave it. And the more I crave for other people. So that's been the real gift.
So just it's funny, people are actually Voxer messaging me questions.
It's blowing you up from every angle, right?
I know. It's like, what's going on? Okay. So here's what I'd like to know too, is we've talked about results, and when we talk about results, we talk about we have to have a metric. So we pull out the metric. Okay. We did 36 or 41, whichever number you want to pull from your red light campaign. Now, when is the next time that you would use your red light campaign? Is that in 3 months, 6 months?
Well, no, actually I'm going to hold it off till next summer again. But I'll do something coming up, like I'll piggyback now, Thanksgiving. And what I realize is this: if you do something, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, is you do it too often, people get used to it and they're just waiting, where they won't consume your product in between. And I try to hold my word. So like I said, the campaign ended at noon on Friday. It ended. That was it. It ended. I also tell people it's a unique offer, and it's a unique offer every time. I don't go back and re-offer the same thing I did last time. And you want to create a buzz about it. So those are the things I do. So I'll do something in November. I'll probably do something in January, but it'd be a different offer, a different thing they can get into, and I'll stack it differently. I'll layer it with different things within the offer and make it exciting and new and fresh. And also exciting for me, because if I'm bored on it, they're going to be bored on it. So they do what happens when they're coming up and they know it's summer. They go, when's Dr. Francis going to release this thing? I don't even tell my staff. I'm like, I'm not even telling you because I don't want you lying to them. Say, you don't know, it's coming up soon, but don't wait. And then when we do it, we create a buzz. It's like, it's only 10 days and here it is. And so, you know what, like, when's it coming? When's it coming? Look at your email. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming on Monday. And sure enough, Monday hits, and then you see the numbers. And what I realize is this, is that there has to be a lead up time, especially there has to be scarcity. There has to be all of those things. So the first week, whatever sales we do, what I've done in the past two, we'll double it the following week. It'll actually double. So if you do 10K week 1, you'll do 20K week 2. You do 20, you'll do 40, just because it's building. And then we do the countdown and the emails. And we only did 7 emails. We weren't badgering them. It wasn't like this crazy thing. And I only hit my list. So it cost me, my CRM is $35 a month. And that was my cost to the whole thing. And I recycled some data too, by the way.
How big is your list? Just give some people some perspective.
I wish I could. I'm going to say 2,000 people.
So I guarantee there's people on here right now who have bigger lists. So
And I'm guessing maybe 1,500, maybe, I honestly don't know. I'm thinking it's 2,000. And
yeah, I mean, but I know there's docs out there right now inside this group, proteges, but even execs who have anywhere from 3,000 to 5,000. So the possibility is there. So this is a campaign. Yeah. So, I mean, you personally, you do this once a year. I mean, for myself, I do like a pop sale, flash sale twice a year, right? So I have July 4th, and then I have what is it called? It's some American holiday.
Yeah, Thanksgiving,
Black Friday or whatever it is. Yeah. That's the two times that I'll like, drastically discount and put an offer out there. So I want doctors who are on the call today to really think about, what are the product services, the adjunctive services, whatever it is that you have that you can almost even package into your own offer, that you can do this as well inside of what you already have in your practice, or how you could take already what, instead of reinventing the wheel, take what, with the guidance of Dr. Charles, like what he has created, how you can make that work for you inside of your office, and possibly get some of those. I like the 7-figure results. Here's the thing for me, I don't know about you, is I hear people when they say 6 and 7 figures, sometimes I almost go, there's no way. No. That's not me. I can't do that. But the reality is, that's the results that you're getting for these doctors.
Yeah, and just to give you an example, like one doctor I'm thinking about was been in the profession 20 plus years, struggling, and a great doctor. So I don't want to demean him if he's even listening. I think he's a stud and a friend of mine. And he did the program, and he's been with me 18 months. In the last 12 months, he's crossed over, in rolling 12 months, done over $1 million. Right? And so here's a guy who had all the talent, didn't have the system, didn't have the way to do it. And that's really what's lacking for a lot of us. We go back to the old paradigms, the old stuff that other people have taught us. We're just repeating it. Even the conversations we have, it's like, I call it church talk or chiropractic talk. We talk to each other and we buy each other's goods, but we're fishing with the bait we would eat. We're not fishing with the bait someone else would eat. So it's kind of ironic. It's like we want to help people and nurture them and get them to us. We want to hug them, not push them away. And that's what I show doctors how to do. Bring the people in. And then when they start to do that, they learn the system, they start to automate it. Then they start to have freedom. They start to have money. They have time. And now they start to put in those heart projects. I mean, it's crazy.
I'm going to throw this out there too. So I know that we got people who are watching on the live stream. We have people who are watching or listening here too, right on this Zoom channel. If you have any specific questions, drop them now. Now is the time. But before we do that, what I want to do is actually give everyone here who's on this a vision. I want you to actually see what, in your mind's eye. I'll do a Sam Falsoffi. In your mind's eye. I want you to close your eyes and envision how this funnel flows. Okay, so you have your email list, you have your contact list for your office. Most of us have anywhere from say maybe 500 to 3,000, 5,000 emails. You create a ClickFunnels landing page, which is essentially an order form landing page. You send them there with a very unique offer, probably has an embedded video on it of you describing the offer, stacking the offer, which is the fold that Dr. Charles is talking about. So you have such incredible value. So here's by the way, everyone has a $997 offer now online. So maybe your offer is $979, but the value when you're done stacking it is like outrageous value of $4,000, $5,000. And so 7 emails, can you create 7 emails to put to that list over a period of 10 days with some soft selling of like, here's the offer, it's going away. And that's essentially dude, it's one of the simplest funnels I've ever thought of, or I've ever heard of, I should say, is like landing page. And then we have thank you page.
That was really it. And, and to break it down a little bit more so people can understand it.
Sure.
You got to remember, what's the subject line people would open? You got to think about that. Like one of the things is like, people always worried about a scam. So I wrote the red light scam. I forget the title exactly, but something like, I worked a few of them in there, but it was like, red lights are a scam. So people clicked on it and they read it and had all the information of what it wasn't, why people say that. And we had a large open rate. People you mentioned, you don't ever want to be alone. You're not alone in this. I'm not alone in this. So they open those things and we have all those things. So the titles are cool. The data is very simple. Most of it was identical to the one I sent them before. And some of the titles were just countdowns. 40 hours left, 24 hours left, 6 hours left. I pick strategic time for me. I know on Monday when I have my email box, I'm more about deleting. I'm like, I've been slammed, so I don't send them out Monday morning. I'll send them out around lunchtime because people get back from lunch, they check their email a little more calm. So I sent my Monday ones at around 11 a.m. Eastern time. That's where my clients are. But the rest of them are 6 a.m. because they get up, they look at their box, they check it, they see the title, you click on what you like. And that's how we ran our campaign, just a little more, cherries on top. What did we do to do that?
But
super basic. I'm a neophyte.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, here's the thing too, is like, it doesn't have to be $1,000 offer. It could be $100 offer. Right.
But like the thing is, there was something that was very interesting. I think it was not Dan Kennedy, Frank Kern was talking about way back in the day when he ran ads, he goes, they were running in the paper. And he goes, when I got $1 for one, he goes, I realized if I made $1 profit, if I spent XYZ, I'd make this much profit. You start to scale it. So as soon as you get profitable, it's scalability. So, you figure out what $100 offers, get your funnel work, get some confidence up, and then do the next funnel. I mean, again, I call it a game because it kind of is you're trying to figure out what do people want and how you deliver the goods because it's a value exchange. That's all that it is.
Yep. And so, and I want people to realize too, again, the proteges, the execs, everyone who's on this call right now, like, look at this. Okay. Yes. We have a campaign you turn on, right? You do this for 10 days, then you turn it off. Yeah. But you have multiple different campaigns. You have multiple different levels of your online business. So it's not like you just have one offer. It's only one of the multiple different offers that you have. If I was to take everyone here right now into our ClickFunnels account, and many of you are going to be watching this in audio, it is did I just say watching this in audio?
You're watching the audio.
So many of you are going to be listening to the audio. If you're listening to the audio, I mean, like, you wouldn't get this, but if I took you into my ClickFunnels account, you would see that we have the number of funnels that are in there is outrageous. And actually our integrator, so Joel, and I know you work closely with Joel as well, and he works with a lot of doctors. He's constantly asking me to please archive some of my funnels. But that's really the name of the game, is like what you'd said. And I want docs to take this from this too, is you create one and then it's not, okay, I'm done. It's like, okay, now the next one, and now the next offer and the next offer. And that's truly where we see that you have a constant income stream, but also leads, whatever it is coming into your business.
Correct. And actually, ironically, Joel's going to come speak at our seminar. So that endeavors. I want to bridge the gap because docs are looking for something like, I don't need to be the expert at everything. I just need to be the hub of the wheel. Everyone, I have these spokes that help me because they're better spokes than I am to run whatever businesses I have. And so having Joel come in and do that is so important. But yeah, layering those individual funnels is critical.
Yeah, beautiful. Okay, so we're just going to kind of start wrapping up the call too. Again, if anyone has any specific questions, I've had a couple specific questions which I've answered inside of the chat, or if there's any others, now is the time to ask. I think we've covered most of it though. Oh, we got one more. And
one other thing, which is ironic, and from my perspective, a lot of times people don't realize that it's automated, so they respond back. So because I wrote the emails, I want it to sound like me and talk like me, and they know how I speak. So I do that, but ironically, they answer back to me as if I actually wrote it on the spot. And you would think that in our day and age, people would realize it's automated, but unfortunately, most people don't. So that's what we heard.
Dr. Corinne is asking, she's saying, how often do you do, I guess you specifically, how often do you do offers to your email list for your office?
I try not to overwhelm them. So I'd say 3 times a year right now that I do that. One is summertime, one is around Thanksgiving, and I usually do one leading up to the new year. Again, because you got to remember my industry though. So if I'm in nutrition and weight loss, there's 2 factors I'm thinking about. One is, when is it the slowest or when is it the busiest? And how can you parlay the existing holidays? So think about most people during the holidays, Christmas especially, do not think about weight loss. It's all about when January 1st comes, I'm going to get going. Well, they're making their weight loss decision in December. They're not making it in January. So I'm trying to get ahead of the curve where most people aren't marketing in December. It's like, I'll wait to January to people excited. Well, they've already gone down that road. You missed the boat. It left the dock. So that's why we'll do something in December to get people excited. Or how do we get them restarted if they're already a patient and kind of jumped off the wagon? That's first thing. Summer is a slow time. School, people are out, life has changed, schedules are off. That's exactly how my life is. I have kids in the house, their schedule's off, I'm trying to juggle things. So in nutrition and weight loss, it's a slower season. So we plug it in and re-engage patients. And you just have to find out, what are you marketing? What's your group? What's your avatar? What are they thinking? And then you write and deliver the goods that they need. And I really mean this, we have to stop thinking what we want. We have to think what they want. And once we know what they really want, if you don't know, go ask people. And you'd be surprised on your thinking and what their desires. They're like, they're not even near each other. They're like over like this.
Beautiful. And so who are your current mentors? Like, who are your mentors that you're working with right now?
One is you. I mean, that is a big mentor of mine. I know that's, we're kind of talking and saying that, but it's reality. And I've watched you grow the last 3+ years and what you've done. And that's been an inspiration to me to figure those things out. So that's one mentor. The second one is actually ClickFunnels itself. I don't know if it's a mentor, but a group. I know that there's a leader of the group. That's the figurehead, the creator, the character. But also too, one of my mentors is what not to do. And I actually work with this doctor. He's big in our profession. Most people would know the name if I said it. And his health, I mean, basically had a stroke, near vegetable, almost lost his life, went to see him, doesn't know his own kids. I mean, it's that type of space. And I realized how hard he worked, built an amazing practice, served everyone else. And when he got sick, everyone left him. And he's near broke, claiming bankruptcy, and his life's in shambles. And I'm like, well, is that the life I want to model? And that's who I was modeling. That's who I was modeling. And I mean, from a chiropractic perspective, an awesome human being, awesome mentor, delivered the goods, but failed to realize that the mission was him first, and his family first. So that's another mentor. I won't say the name.
It's interesting. Doctors get sick too.
Damn straight.
Like I have insurance. I'm insured like to the, like crazy, but even insurance, I can tell you right now, it's not it will never change the fact that so I think I get this from you, or I feel this from you. And I hope, docs who are in our groups feel it from me too, is like, this helps fulfill my purpose. I know that you helping other doctors get, have the lifestyle they'd like to create and duplicate your kind of results is because it's in your heart.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the cool part. It's like it's not like have your cake and you can't have your cake and eat it. You can do it all. You can have the amazing life and still serve people. You can make resources and you can be honest about it. You can deliver value. People don't mind paying for things they value. And truth be told, I don't want to create just a bunch of doctors who aren't like, we do things synergistically. I actually truly love all the doctors I work with. And I'm so excited for this show. When they call me up and they're like this, I have not an ounce of jealousy. I'm like, holy crap. And actually one of them has surpassed what I've ever done. And I'm like, I'm so happy, like genuinely happy, because they're doing them and I'm doing me. And together it's a good fit. It's a really good fit for everyone involved. And that's why I'm like, what a great way to go. Very different to people like you practice management, like not even close. I don't even want to be in that same conversation.
The crazy thing is that if everything that you had currently was going through ClickFunnels in some fashion, you'd already be probably multiple 2 comma awards. You'd have about like 2 or 3 of these on the wall.
Actually, one of the things I have, I would have one. I honestly, God, that's not an exaggeration. I would actually have one based upon one funnel or one pathway right now, without a doubt. But that's the beautiful part. Like I don't even care about. I do care about the award, but don't care about the award. I know I've done it. It's not, but it's a nice honor for what you've done. But I didn't do it through ClickFunnels, so I don't deserve it. Like, do you know what I'm saying? That's their model. And actually, I have another thing we're getting ready to launch that is going to be nationwide. That I have a feeling it's going to be 8 figures.
Yeah.
I do. I think in like 2 to 3 years, it'll be an 8-figure thing. But it's not going to involve doctors per se. It's another heart space that my wife and I want to reach out to people. And now we have the methodology to do it. And we're putting the piece in place now. It's a build, I'm not ready to release it yet.
And that's the heart project you're talking about too, is like once you have this type of, your business in play here, and now you're working also on like this soulful heart project as well. Hey, Dr. Corinne had another question. She asked, do you mind sharing the name of your weight loss program, or is it just one that you created?
No, the weight loss program, my wife is a registered licensed dietitian. So she's been in practice 20 plus years. Her expertise is in eating disorders, overeating, undereating, like anorexia and bulimia. Because a lot of times with chiropractors, we have no value for dietitians. We think like they're off the chain. So between her and I, we built this program. So there isn't like a name for it per se, but it's really straightforward, healthy. There's nothing extreme about it. The thing that is a separator, in my opinion, is that we actually handle the emotional piece of overeating. Because we don't ever handle the true psychology. It's not just for people attaching to their whys. We're told, get a bigger why, get your why. That is important. But the fact is that there's these reasons why we do things. And if you can break the emotional eating pattern, then the person has the methodology. So then it's the physiology and the physical, like what to do. And so her and I have built that. Now, ironically, we did a lot of this stuff in our chiro clinic, but I was charging, I'm not exaggerating, I think it was $10 a half an hour for someone to come sit with us and do this stuff. So we were just like burning all this stuff, and we were helping people. They were losing as much weight as my clients are losing today. And basically we were breaking even. And then we just said, you know what, we're going to charge what it's worth. We're going to put it out there in a way. So we've been doing this for a while. And then I refined the marketing piece through, Ed and some other things. When I took that year off, I actually learned how to be a business person, like actually do business, So yeah, there's no name of it. And our doctors that work with us, we don't put our brand on their practice. They name their weight loss program whatever they want. They're the star. I don't want to be on the billboard. I don't want even them to know I exist. I just build the infrastructure because people love their doctor, and I don't want them loving me like a name. Again, that's like I said earlier, I'm not about being in the front. For sometimes social media, I need to put it out there, but ideally I like to be in the background.
Yeah, it's like a white label system, basically. Like They
take all the things, they put their logo, their brand, their name. If they want to put their name, they want to be creative and call it something else, they can. And we show them how to structure it from a business structure too, so that they're asset protected, and that they know, how to run their revenue from top line to bottom line.
So I'm just going to start wrapping up the call as well. And what we'll do is we'll keep so Doc, if you don't mind, inside of our Laptop Lifestyle crew, you'll see that there's the live video today. I'm going to see if there's anyone who has any specific questions, anything at all, they can comment inside of the thread on our Facebook group. You can maybe take a look and see, or maybe tag Dr. Charles as well. If you feel compelled to reach out to him, to message him, I'm sure he'd be happy to talk to you, or to open a dialogue through Facebook Messenger. I want to thank you for being on this call today. I think it's dual purpose. Number one is it's inspiration. It shows that, there's people like yourself who are out there actually doing this. Number two is it's just really valuable, I think, for a lot of our protege and executive members to actually see how you have set this up, and that it doesn't require someone to be the next Josh Axe with 250,000 views on a Facebook Live.
Exactly. And
right.
Josh also to you, but you don't need to do that to create your space.
Hey, just with that campaign, like a campaign like yours alone, that's a 6-figure business right there. If you were only to do that, right?
It is, because I've run this in different ways. I've run this, the first time was 67K, I did like 30K. So we structured, 30 emails, did $100,000+. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But what we did was we had to exchange, people calling us, emails. This was so automated. It all hit my account. It was done. People loved it. My staff wanted to hug me because it was just that simple. And we were able to communicate at a higher level and create greater value. So I'm already brainstorming on what I'm doing next.
Beautiful. And so, and I also want to, as part of a thank you to you, is any of our members who are watching this, whether it be on Facebook Live, whether it be on the Zoom here with our execs and proteges, if you feel compelled to reach out and get some more information on Dr. Charles' live event that's coming up in October, please do feel free to message him. I know he's he's open to discussing discussing this. It's probably one of the only opportunities that I know of that you'll see Joel, who's the integrator. He's the guy behind a lot of what you see with Laptop Lifestyle Mentor, but also with Dr. Charles and several other members who are in our group as well. So you can connect with him there. So thank you so much, Doc. Appreciate it.
I appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, you brought it today. Awesome. All right, peace out, everyone.
So you've heard the struggles, you've heard the successes, and this episode is done. But there's still so much more to come and so much more to learn. Head on over to thechiropracticphilanthropist.com and sign up for our newsletter, where you'll receive free practice building tips and strategies, including how to market your practice with your very own podcast and so much more. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on The Chiropractic Philanthropist.